it's Emily here, and I have Damien joining me today.
Hi everyone!
It's been a year and a half since the last cutest video hop ever, and I thought it was time to hold this inspirational event again, where I invite artists to craft with their kids.
I'm excited to be joining my mom for the cutest video hop ever.
We have an amazing lineup for this video hop, and you can find the next link at the top of the description below, as well as a full hop list on my blog, and I'll have a link to that as well, since all the prize information is provided there.
We hope you have fun watching us craft with our parents. Let's get this party started.
We have 3 cards to share with you today, each featuring products that were sent to us from Ranger Ink, Fawn, and Catherine Pooler Designs.
I'm starting with the Holtz Distress Crayon Watercolor Kit from Ranger Ink. I'm using distress crayons on a sheet of distress watercolor cardstock, and I'm using the textured side. I use the colors in rainbow order to create a grid of 9 squares in the center of the panel. I started with the middle one to make it easier to space them out. There are 6 colors, so the bottom row is in reverse order of the top row. After the squares are drawn, I use the Ranger paintbrush that comes with the kit to add water. After the squares are drawn, I use the Ranger paintbrush that comes with the kit to add water on the squares and react the crayon and blend the color throughout the square. After the panel has completely dried, I place it into the mini Misty. I just see like this whole thing and I'm like, oh yay! After the panel has completely dried, I place it on the mini Misty stamping tool and stamp the butterfly from the stamp set that comes with the kit. I place it in the center and use the archival ink pad that is included in the kit and stamp it. Since I don't have a sentiment, I can also give it to anyone I want on any occasion. I really love how this turned out. Now I want to add a thin frame around this, and I'm going to use A2 rectangle dies from My Favorite Things and white foil cardstock from Concord and Knife, both of whom are sponsors for this event. Next I use Studio Katia's Next, I use Studio Katia's liquid glue to adhere the frame to the card. Much to my mom's dismay, I wanted to embellish my card with bitty paws from Studio Katia, also one of our sponsors for this event. Animal paws are just so cute, and these are made with polymer clay, which makes them so much cuter. I'm obsessed with these, and my mom can't believe I like them the most out of all of her sequins and enamel dots. I add a few of them in the corner, and now my first card is done.
Fawn sent us the Let's Go Nuts stamp set and Into the Woods paper pack. We were so excited to receive the squirrel set because we're obviously squirrel lovers, and it's so perfect for us.
I'll be using the celebratory squirrel, little scarf, pile of acorns, and single acorn. I want to have the squirrel throwing up a few acorns from his stash, and then my mom will create a background for this. I want to have the squirrel in the valley with the mountaintops on either side. I'm stamping the images with Memento Tuxedo black ink and coloring them with Copic markers.
For the card base, I'll be using Catherine Pooler's Essentials Slimline dies and the layered Lakeside Mountain stencils from Trinity Stamps. Both of these fabulous companies are also sponsoring this event. I have a real-time video of me using these stencils on my YouTube channel, and you can find that same video on the Trinity Stamps website for this particular product. I start by using Shabby Shutter's Distress Ink to create the grassy plateaus. Then I use gathered twigs to create the sides of the mountain. I go back in and use walnut stain to create the shadows. I use the reverse side of the stencil to complete the other side. Then I mask off the mountains and use another one of the stencils from the set to create the trees and fill in the center with evergreen bough and peacock feathers.
After my mom has used the Essential Slimline dies to cut out the scene, I trim out the stencil portion so we can layer these on the Fawn Into the Woods pattern paper. We picked a cute cloud background to complete the scene and adhere the pieces together with Studio Katia's liquid glue.
To create the card base, I cut 2 slimline pieces from craft cardstock and scored the back piece 5/8 of an inch from the edge to make it easy for the card to open. I used strong score tape to keep the pieces together and attach the front panel before popping up the images with foam tape.
Now our second card is done. Check out this cute split scene slimline card. This is also my first slimline card. For our third and final card, we're using products from Catherine Pooler's latest release. The images are from the Nice List stamp set. My mom has heat embossed the images, and I'm watercoloring with Catherine Pooler inks. I'm using the two new ink colors Cranberry Fizz and Deck the Halls, as well as Sauna. I'm not as keen on watercoloring as my mom is. I much prefer Copic markers or pencil crayons to color.
For the white parts of the hat, I applied liquid glue and added fuzzy fun flock, then allowed it to dry for a few hours. Then I layered some silver discs and clear seed beads from Catherine Pooler's Tinseltown sequin mix to the bells on the elf shoes. The little cloud sequin container is from Twiddler's Nook, an Etsy shop owned by my friend Amanda Wilcox. She and her husband 3D print these at home, and they come in all sorts of shapes and colors with cute little faces in the center. It makes picking sequins and pouring them back into their containers so much easier. I wish I'd gotten these sooner.
Now I'm going to stamp the sentiment, which is basically the elf's body, and my mom is going to heat emboss it to match the heat embossed images. We're adding googly eyes to add whimsy in a face. I used the magic embossing bag before stamping so the embossing powder doesn't stick to anything but the ink.
Then I used the 3 ink colors Damien watercolored with and add some stars from the Nice List stamp set. I used glue dots to adhere the googly eyes and attach the hat with an action wobble. I also want to use action wobbles on the feet, but since the image is split and I can't place one action wobble in the center, I'm going to use 2 but not adhere the second one. The second one will be used to prop up the other foot so that they're level. These mini action wobbles are slightly too big, so I cut off a corner of it so it doesn't show behind the image. I do the same thing on the other side, but on the opposite corner.
To create a frame on the card base, I'm using Deck the Halls and the ink to paper technique to swipe the ink pad along the edges so the frame coordinates of my I ran out of air! So the frame coordinates with my watercolored images.
I adhere the panel to the card base, and now our last card is done. This is such a fun stamp set, especially for kids to make or play with the interactive elements.
It's quite fun to play with these. The sequins and beads really sparkle, and I love the soft flip-flop. Fun flock. Thanks so much for joining us today. I don't have much time to craft with my mom anymore, but making these 3 cards really makes me appreciate how much time goes into our cards and videos. I hope you enjoyed our projects, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you for taking the time to craft with me, Damien, and for joining me for this video hop. Thank you so much to our very generous sponsors. There are 30 giveaways for this video hop with a total value of over $1,000, so be sure to comment at every stop on this hop. The more you comment, the higher your chances of winning. Be sure to visit my blog for the full list of sponsors and deadlines for commenting to win. That link is also below just before the supply list.
Now we're sending you over to Catherine Pooler's YouTube channel. She's crafting with her daughter Eva, and you're going to have a blast watching them create. We always love their videos.
Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to support today's video artists by subscribing to everyone's YouTube channels and clicking on the bell to be notified of new videos. See you again soon!